Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I am your host, Daniel Prue, and joining me, as always, are my two friends, Darren and Philip. Guys, how's it going this week? Hey, it's September. It's back to school time. The end of the summer. What's going on? There's got to be something exciting going on.
Oh, as I mentioned just before we started recording, it's Star Trek Day, so I decided to watch No, I haven't actually watched any Star Trek today, but I'm thinking First Contact tonight. You know, pop it in. It's such a good one, so I'm looking forward to that. Or maybe an episode of the animated series. Who knows what I'll do.
Yeah, well, I think Star Trek Day Observed is on Monday, if I remember correctly.
It's not a federal holiday yet.
Isn't it?
But,
well, because we can wear the thing to work that day, right, Daniel, according to the West Wing?
Oh, that's a good reference.
Is that where we wear our Bajoran earpieces? Is that what we're allowed to?
And we don't get yelled at by our...
We don't get yelled at, yeah, for our dress code.
Yeah.
Immediate superiors, yeah. It's pretty quiet in terms of Star Trek news. I mean, it's been kind of coming at us pretty fast for most of the time here, but it feels like nothing really happened this week. I don't think there's anything going on.
Well, again, like I mentioned before, Aaron Harvey's Star Trek The Animated Series book dropped this last week.
Yep.
So it finally premiered, and I haven't ordered my copy yet. I'm waiting for a little bit of funds to come in, but I do want to get a copy of that. But I see what you're saying, though, Daniel. It's we got hit by so much like Picard trailer and animated series look and all this stuff, and then it just like kind of went quiet. And now we're like, we want more. We want more Trek, and it's like we're not getting it.
I think I'm trying to remember, and there's smarter people than me, I know. There's a big con coming up. Is it New York Con? I mean, in other words, I think that'll maybe, if there's any, be the next wave of news. If there's any.
One that's kind of a little better than Star Trek Las Vegas, because that was a couple weeks ago, but not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Late August.
It's the calm before the storm, I suspect, too, because we're going to be hitting all this new content. Sounds like right around the turn of the year. So big things are coming.
So,
and I kind of wanted to go ahead.
Well, you were talking about back to school, it made me think, like, is there like a Starfleet Academy trapper keeper I should be getting or something, or
Wow, Philip is cutting deep with the 1996 reference there. No, there wasn't anything about that, but soon enough, I'm sure we'll learn.
Now, I did actually do something.
Well, when Wesley was heading back to the academy, that's what he was picking up.
I did actually do something Star Trek today, which is rare. I was at my local, I don't know what to call it, a toy store, I guess, but it's like, old toys. By old toys, I mean 10 years ago. But anyway.
Like wooden toys? Like tin toys?
No, I mean like G.I. Joes and He-Man.
Okay. So 80s, 70s toys.
70s. So anyway, but one of the things they did have some Star Trek figures. Now, of course, I just go through the selection like have. There was one figure which technically I have. It's the Playmates, whatever series. But it was a uniform variant. And I was like, you know what? If I get this figure, this would give me my own excuse to buy something else. And so what I did is I bought the Geordi LaForge Generations uniform. And I'm like, well, now that I have an extra Geordi, he needs his own playset, obviously. So when I got home, I then purchased the engineering playset.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so I
Wait, is there a Generations playset, or you just bought a second?
No, I have it right here on my wall. It's the Next Generation Engineering playset. It's got the engineering warp core, the little console.
It did come out
it lights
during
up.
Generations. That was part of it. Like,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was a specific set for the movie.
yes,
But
they did have a Barkley for sale, but spoilers, didn't get it.
spoilers. How dare you, Philip?
Now there is, and I don't have quite the motivation to get this, but like assuming, and this is going to happen at any time soon, but assuming I go into like a bigger place and just have like this massive room all to myself, where I can put all my Star Trek stuff, and I just have like it's just begging to put stuff around. It wouldn't be my first thing to buy, but like there is the transporter room play set you can get. So
Yep.
I suppose you could get the Barkley figure for that and have him freak out every time, you spin him around there. So
That's the O'Brien companion
I know,
playset.
yes.
If
you just leave him alone there. No one ever plays with it.
Just leave
Just
him there.
gathers dust.
Did Playmates ever release one of those transporter creatures as an accessory?
they have the one. It's not a transporter creature per se, but it's the one where
I was just
Geordi
thinking-
turned into like a
Yes.
lizard.
That was in the in the thing I bought, as everyone remembers from these bygone days. You get, playing cards, for lack of a better word, or character cards. Came with two. One was the Generations Geordi LaForge. The second one was, I forget what they're even called. It had like the cardboard cutout circle thing, but it was him as that creature. Like that was the second card in there. So I thought that was funny.
Name that episode.
Identity Crisis? No, is that right?
I think so.
Yeah,
but
that
I haven't.
sounds
verified.
right. That sounds right. We'll go with it. We'll say Philip.
We're gonna go with it until someone proves us wrong.
All right. So speaking of kind of, I had a good transition, and Philip wanted to say something. So I've got to
Ruined
it. I was thinking about all this new Star Trek coming, and the changes in television, and like the differences between Discovery and I just had a bunch of stuff on my mind about how content is handled now versus how it was previously.
Content is king.
And content is king. And it came to me, and I think I was watching The Office at the time or something, which is unsurprising. But it came to me, I was like, when you have like hyper-focused, narrative-driven stories like we do now, very short seasons where you're really telling an overarching plot, you aren't given a lot of room to breathe. And there are positives to that and there are negatives to that. For every good episode of Star Trek that just sort of fills the cracks, there's a bad episode as well. There's a stupid episode where we go and do something dumb, or there's a great episode where we go and do something stupid and wild and fun and crazy. But I was thinking, we're not going to get those kind of episodes anymore. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So I call them filler episodes. It's really tough to kind of categorize these episodes, but I'm going to do my best. They can be bottle episodes, and often they are. It's an episode where it in no way affects the bigger story. It's an episode where our heroes go off on some sort of wonky, usually a side quest. That's exactly right. A crazy adventure. It's kind of where the writers say, let's put a Western in here, which just seems to be one of those themes they come back to. Or let's put a rom-com in here, or whatever. It's when they do like these, it's just stories for story's sake. They're kind of short stories in Star Trek form, almost, that because they have to fill out 26 episodes, they get the chance to do these things. And I don't think we're going to see this in Discovery. We're certainly not going to see it in Picard. And I kind of wanted to talk about our favorite ones and what we love about them. So I guess I'll just hand it off to you guys. And we're mostly going to focus on the positive here. But what do you guys think about these filler episodes? And I'm just calling them that. It's a filler name. If we can come up with something better, that'd be fine.
I do like side quests because, of course, you don't have to do it. And then you could just play the main plot and never do it. But,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think side quest sounds a little less negative.
Yeah, and you get something extra out of side quests. Usually you get some bonus reward.
Yeah, I feel like, though, it's as tricky, though, because I feel like for at least half of Star Trek, I mean, like the forward half, original series animated series, a lot of next gen, because it wasn't really the long form story that we are. So it's much easier to pull out an episode and be like, yeah, this episode really had nothing to do with anything ever again, but definitely, like you said, it almost swings all the way the other end with like Discovery, where it's only 10 episodes or so in a season, so you have to fit every episode. It's very rare you're going to find one where you're like, we could kind of pass on that one.
Well, I think an example, at least a next generation example, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you said we're going to keep positive, but this is just an example. Sub Rosa, okay, has no. I mean, I know Next Generation is episodic, so when I say it has no effect, then yeah, that's like all of it, right? But I mean, really, it has no effect, and it's a focus on a. I hate to call Dr. Crush not a main character. Of course, she's a main character, but you know what I mean. A focus on a character who doesn't necessarily get a focus, but she gets like the whole episode. For more or less, yes. There's Data and Geordi show up at some point, Picard, whatever. But basically, it's a Beverly episode. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's plenty of Beverly episodes. Remember Me, blah 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 blah. But it's
and the candle.
Yeah, but it's also sort of almost outside of the series universe. It's just you know what I'm trying to say. And so I don't think we're gonna have that sort of like this one character we're gonna focus on. There's not gonna be like a Stamets. It's just a episode of him in this research library or something. No, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so I totally agree, and it's a great point that you brought up, Darren. Like, because of the spectrum of Star Trek, and when you start with the original series, it's easy, especially with then and with early in TNG, to say, because it's so episodic, that there are less of those episodes. But I agree, but I definitely think there's a difference between, say, the Doomsday Machine, which is episodic, it's a one episode thing, and something like Cat's Paw, which is what I would consider like a TOS version
special.
of this. Yeah, exactly. And so I guess it's more about the spirit of the episode than maybe the impact on canon, but that's why it's a spectrum, and it's you kind of know one of these episodes when you see one. The Wild West episode of TOS also sticks out in my mind.
Which I was just thinking, by the way, Dan, when you said Wild West a couple minutes ago too, I was like, oh, there haven't been that many. Then I was like, I named an Wild West episode for 3 of the 5 live action series, because you have TOS where they go to the OK Corral. I can't remember.
Spectre the Gun.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
TNG, of course, has Fistful of Datas. Enterprise has North Star.
Yep.
And I can't think of any DS9 or Voyager, but there, but for the grace of the ancient West.
Yeah. So I guess. Oh,
and then
man, it's so hard to quantify it, but
it wasn't.
I mean, when you're going so far back to like, the 1945, you're practically at the Wild Wild West. Like, it's just a tiny bit on the dial of the time machine from, DS9 time back to Little Green Men. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but so I wanted to talk about these episodes, and I guess I say we should focus on the positive, but there may be good examples of this stuff that aren't great as well. But I want to focus on these episodes that tell stories that generally don't service the bigger story or really don't inform the characters a lot. It's just kind of, you can tell the writers had to fill the space. and sometimes that comes out, we get gold. Like you mentioned, Philip, a Fistful of Datas. That episode doesn't matter in the big scheme of Star Trek, but it's such a fun Rascals. Great example as well. I mean, there's 1,000 examples in every series, and we'll go through them all. But I'm a little nervous, and the whole point of us bringing this up was because I'm a little nervous we're losing this part. And you could chalk it up to bigger television trends, but I'm a little nervous we're losing this little aspect of Star Trek, and we're not going to get the dopey episode where,
like there's no room for it anymore.
Yeah, there's no room for it, and I want to talk about what we might lose if that's the case.
Yeah, the I don't know, lack of a better word, because TV is so high quality, which I know that's a spectrum, but just go with me. Now that TV is high quality now, in a lot of what's being produced story wise, the stakes, not necessarily the literal story stakes, but the stakes are higher in that, every episode has to be this movie TV quality that we expect in the 21st century. And so you can't really have like the crazy episode where you maybe try a little experimental thing, or like in Discovery, the closest I think they came, and you can, again, not my favorite, but so please correct me, but the closest they came was Magic, blah, 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 Harry Mudd. That was kind of a WTF
Yeah.
episode.
I was going
But it
to
was
say
good,
that too.
of course. And one of, I think, my favorites of Discovery. It did affect, it was part of the serial, it was Mudd coming back, but not really. I mean, you could not have that episode. You're not going to lose anything from that first season storyline about, the Klingons and Michael. And
The main issue with Mudd is wrapped up by the end
I mean,
of the
like,
episode.
as much as you get is,
So-
you have the Michael, I forget his name, relationship, Lieutenant. Yeah,
Ash.
actually, it's been so long.
Tyler.
Sorry. So you have, I mean, that's kind of what, like, if you want to get that for the serialized aspect, that's what you get. But that's like 5 minutes. I can just explain, hey, they finally kiss or something.
Yeah.
But
that's the whole point.
Look, they have to kiss Philip at the sweetheart under the sea dance. Otherwise,
Stamets
Spock isn't
starts,
born.
disappearing and fading away. So.
Isn't that how that works?
But that's the whole point, because can you name, like, even by events, can you name another Discovery episode? You kind of can't. They all run together. It's just this big blob of blah. And then there's like, oh, they did this one thing in this one episode that was kind of interesting. It's
like, I know a lot of people call out Choose Your Pain as a standout episode. Like, I know what you're saying, Daniel, like, but there are some that kind of I've galvanized as an episode, but maybe I just don't pick up on the episode titles as easily. Maybe because I don't put them at the beginning of the episode.
Context is king.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
just, it's just like, we're not going to get a Discovery cowboy episode. I mean,
I don't know. No,
I guess
Daniel,
we could.
they're in the future now. All bets are off about what we can do in third season Discovery. So,
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to eat crow on that, but well, not specifically cowboy, because I don't care too much about that aesthetic. But
so you want the Nazi episode, because those are the only two choices.
We do have 2, 3, 4 Nazi episodes in Star Trek.
Let's see. There's the Nazi
5?
planet in TOS. Where's the TNG one?
Wait, no, there's not just the Nazi planet. There's also the Edith Keeler episode.
Well, that's okay. You're stretching it, but I'll go with it.
Yeah.
What do you want? Stretching it? How am I stretching it?
There's no Nazis on screen.
Okay. All right. I guess if we're doing just
I
Nazis.
mean, they mentioned them about the hard water experiments
okay.
and stuff
I mean,
like
it's
that,
a pretty
but
major.
I wouldn't call it the Nazi episode.
I mean, like
What do you-
Enterprise.
Or-
Yes, that's the Nazi episode there. When you have the swastikas on the
two-
White House,
The 2 in Voyager, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So I mean,
Although, I don't know. Do alien Nazis count or not, Darren? You tell me.
well,
Nazi
they were
expert.
alien Nazis in
Enterprise.
Enterprise, so
Oh, sorry.
They-
That's right.
they
Yeah.
have to count.
oh well.
It's like, my Führer, he has red eyes. Like, are you sure we should be trusting him?
So let's just go through the series, and let's just talk about a few of these episodes, because and see, maybe we can throw in a few, just all of them, and then we decide if it's worth it or not. So, I guess we'll start with Enterprise, because that's kind of normally how we do things here. And I had a few in mind. I think the biggest one for me, and this isn't on the crazy side of the spectrum, but this is more in the terms of in terms of one-offs, story that you don't tell when you're rushing to tell stories, was A Night in Sick Bay, which is what came up for me.
That's a nice one.
Which is an amazing.
Well, again, these aren't bad episodes. They're just
no.
the plot grinds to a halt for an episode, and then it continues.
Yeah.
Well, and these are mostly
What-
character episodes. I think we'll find, but maybe I'll be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and on the other spectrum, the other side of the spectrum, we could talk about the Ryza episode.
I was just thinking. I was going to
From-
say that.
Yeah, from Enterprise, which is not nearly at the same level of quality.
I was going to even say the Rise episode from Next Gen, where Picard goes there. Like,
Captain's Holiday.
Ryza just stops plot.
We could talk about the Ryza episode from Deep Space Nine as
Yep,
well.
Well,
yep.
but-
Yeah, I think
but let's
Ryza
let
is
him-
a black hole pulling plot into a
But
standstill.
let's him throw the first stone. Who?
The war is going on, but hey, let's go to Ryza. And,
So,
you know,
Yeah, like, is there anything that sticks out in your minds as these type of episodes in Enterprise? Did you guys think of any off the top of your head or before the episode or what?
Enterprise is hard in as much as you're gonna. Well, this is me. You can disagree. Is that you're gonna have to find one in the third season because everything else they
Yeah, I
would
was gonna say.
Because I mean, if you really want to go through this fourth season Mirror Universe, 2 episodes that don't even take place in the universe of the show.
Yeah,
True, but
I mean,
because they are so self-contained, it actually almost like negates the problem.
but again, anyway, with Daniel's hypothesis that in this current context of I don't know, what are we calling this era of Trek? But anyway, in post Legacy Trek, when you have 13 episodes or whatever a season, you're not going to do 2 outside of the whole series.
No, they wouldn't do that.
yeah, that's exact. It was bold. It was bold to do that. It was, and those 2 episodes are widely regarded as some of the best Enterprise that you can see.
That's because it was the 4th season. They're like, we're just gonna go for broke.
Yeah.
We're just
What are they
gonna
gonna
like
do?
we're gonna put the original. We're gonna put our crew in the original uniforms on the bridge of the Constitution class ship, and just no one's gonna stop us.
Yeah, and that was fun. And to Philip's point, that didn't serve any greater purpose. You know, obviously in season 3 you're not going to get any. Well, I mean, we could argue.
I'm trying to think, like, because that's the Xindi arc, right? Was
Yeah.
season 3?
Mhm.
Because again, like you were saying, Philip, it's the context. It's like, yeah, in a season like that, you're not expecting, you know. Is that the one with the? I'm trying to think. Does that have the volleyball planet episode in it? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
think.
But that was
You know what?
me.
You know what I'm talking about. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't. None that really. It's hard for the Enterprise for things. It's been a while since I've watched it as
Getting there
well.
from
But
So
Yeah,
so
maybe.
season 3 does have E squared, which I would almost consider. I could argue that it would be one of
Well,
those type of
North
episodes.
Star
That's true.
is a 3rd season episode.
But North Star is, yeah.
So,
for sure,
the random Wild West episode in the middle of the.
So even I don't know if I would argue that Enterprise is more serialized than Deep Space Nine, but I was going to say that even when Star Trek is very serialized, it did find time to do these types of things traditionally.
Again, not to go through the whole thing. So season 3, episode 3 was Extinction. And this is the one where, I'll just read you the sentence. Archer, Reed, and Hoshi are exposed to a highly contagious virus while exploring a tropical alien world. Nothing to do with the Xindi arc. It's just, it's basically Geordie LaForge turning into the,
yeah, that's true. I mean, they have the arc, but it really picks up steam at the end. But during the season, like, maybe we're just. It's like half the episodes are really hardcore Xindi, but really the other half are not.
Yeah.
Episode.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go. Sorry, I know. Sorry. Episode 6 is Exile. If you remember this one, I'm gonna have to watch this again. I remember if it's good or not. Hoshi.
Oh
Hoshi
yeah, I
gets-
remember this one. The one with the Beauty and the Beast.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Oh my
Right.
God! Yes. I completely forgot about that episode.
And so
So
technically, there's a Xindi
Tale as
hook
old
to
as
it,
Stardate.
but it's really not about that arc.
that's funny because
It's like keyword search sphere builders. If it doesn't show up, it's not in the thread.
Well, the thing that they did too with that was they would put sphere builders at the end, like a
Yeah.
lot, where it was like, oh,
They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this whole time it was the spiel builder."
It was
It's like,
the
"Oh my gosh!" So it somehow has to do with our overall plot.
It's
I
the
guess.
Spock shuttle
Say that.
of season.
Oh. Captain Archer, did you know the spear builders are just about out of range? We have to go after them.
yeah, that was lazy serialization because it was always the sphere builders at the end. So, but yeah, there's a lot there
Yeah,
that you could.
I say
call-
like the last 6-7 episodes of season 3 are all serialized, except like you said, E squared.
Yeah.
It's like the 4th from the last, and I think that defines it, Philip. Like it's like, let's just take a break and talk to our past selves for an episode, and then continue on.
All right. Yeah. So wow, we just discovered a lot there in Enterprise. Anything you want to delve into really deep, or should we move on and talk about the original series?
Original series.
That's fine. All right. So TOS is definitely, I think, the hardest because it's very strictly the most episodic. I mean, that.
I just want to throw out one. I'm interrupting your thought. I apologize, but one just it's because when you were first introducing this topic, the way I translated it was WTF episodes, basically episodes that are like, I guess again experimental, and which again I know you're going to say TOS. Your listeners are saying what story? You could view them all out of order. It doesn't matter, except they changed uniforms in a weird episode for Warrior No Man Has Gone Before. But just out there. So like Spectre of the Gun. It's watch it. I whether it's good or bad. Again, that's whatever. But it's an out there concept because you're like, oh man, look at this bad scenery. No, that's the point. The point is to have that Old West Hollywood front. It's not supposed to make you think it's an actual town. And then like what's real and what's not. It's all very existential thought. If we don't think these people are going to shoot.
Like when third season Batman in the anime, or not the anime, but the like Adam West was just, we're not even going to do walls in the sets. We're going to just put objects there, and you're just going to infer there's a wall. Like, it's very surreal.
Yeah, and it's a surreal episode. And so that's one, I don't know if we, that a surreal episode is maybe its own thing. But anyway, so that's just one I can think of. But again, I know TOS is hard to do.
Yeah, TOS is definitely the most difficult because obviously they're all very individual episodes, and there is almost no overarching plot. There's almost nothing that carries from episode to episode, so it's easy to say, well, all of them. I mean,
Are we allowed
there's definitely
to throw out Star Trek V?
I hadn't thought about the movies.
I don't know.
Well, I don't mean throw out, though. I don't not mean throw out, but in other words. 2, 3, and 4 smack together. 6 calls back to 3 because it's the death of David, and other stuff. 5, again, I'm not. We've talked about this movie before, but I'm saying you could not watch that and you could still get the thing from it. But you could watch it and then enjoy it too. But but I know movies are different.
Yeah, movies are a different animal as far as this is concerned. So. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else sticks in my mind in terms of the original series. Is there anything that kind of fits this mold at all? I don't know. I mean, something like Assignment Earth, maybe?
Oh, that's an interesting backdoor pilots. Yeah, well, like you said, Cat's Paw, I think, was a really good example. Halloween Special. Halloween Special.
Is Assignment Earth, that's the one
Gary
where
7.
they go back to 1969?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it for as far as it doesn't take place in the 22nd century.
Yeah. And it doesn't even really feel like that much of a Star Trek episode. Obviously, intentionally so. But, yeah, TOS is more difficult in terms of this sort of stuff. Because obviously, it's a spectrum. You start with TOS, and if you end on Discovery, you can see kind of that, how it just...
completely episodic to completely
serialized,
serialized.
Yeah. So, that's fine if we don't have anything else that we can come up with there.
It's only going to get easier. Dan.
That's right.
Conversely,
that's right. So TNG, let's talk about it. There's plenty of there's some mild serialization going on in TNG, but there's plenty of stuff that's a little weird and out there that they do.
And I know this is, again, probably not going to fit what you're going for because it's early season. But again, when I was thinking WTF episodes, the Royale.
Yeah.
It's and we're not doing quality, just conceptually. It's a weird episode. I mean, good weird episode, bad weird episode, up to you to decide. But it's a weird episode. And again, you're going to be like, well, it's season 2, who gives a blank? It's not serialized. But, no one's going to do the Royale.
It is a bad weird episode, though. I will say that just to clarify, and that's fine. That is a good example because it's like, and it does the same sort of thing that you were mentioning with Spectre of the Gun, with this the sort of weird existentialism stuff. Like what the heck is going on this planet with this casino? What is this that's going on? But yeah, what else? We've got plenty of stuff in TNG we can talk about.
Well, one of the things I was looking at, because I think I tried to look at, okay, where's a big chunk of serialized story? And I'm like, okay, well, there's Best of Both Worlds and Family. Like, everyone often says that's like a nice unofficial trilogy. I'm like, okay, well, how long does that go? Because you have Best of Both Worlds Part 1, Part 2, Family. Then you have Brothers, which is also kind of family-esque. Then you get Suddenly Human, Picard helps a human boy raised by aliens to decide his fate. And I'm like, okay, I think we stopped the family train with this episode. So, I mean, in that regard, yes, they weren't necessarily trying to do that, but it kind of worked out that way, where I feel like Suddenly Human was just kind of, and then you get Remember Me and Legacy, and yeah, it keeps slowing down. But that's one thought I had, just of continuing that Best of Both Worlds arc of family and all those changes to these characters.
And from the behind the scenes stuff, I remember, I believe it was an interview with Ron Moore, and he said that they had to fight to do family. Like Berman really didn't want to do that sort of continuation, that sort of consequence type episode. And they really, I think it was Berman, and they
like, we have to deal with the aftermath.
Yeah, they had to fight him on it. So the producers were kind of against that sort of stuff in the beginning, but yeah, I mean, that's a good example of something that breaks up the continuity, but it's not. That's just a one-off episode, which is a little bit different than what we're talking about. So we've already mentioned A Fistful of Datas. I had written down Cupid. A lot of these holodeck episodes in general are kind of a perfect example, I think, of what we're talking about, because it's an excuse.
It's outside the universe,
within their own. Yeah, it's like its own little universe. If you just watch the holodeck episodes, they all make sense together. But
yeah, I think they're generally an excuse for the writers to just kind of do something that they could not normally do on Star Trek, which is probably one of the reasons it was invented in the first place. So, yeah, what else? You guys have, I'm sure you have some
and I don't know if you feel like this would fall under this rubric or not, because generally speaking, these are good episodes, no matter which series does it. But again, in this whole, 13, however many episodes these things have, I don't know, would they do it? And that's celebration of Star Trek / anniversary episodes. So, for instance, Relics, Unification,
Trouble
parts
and
1 and 2. And you may say, well, Unification, that's really part of the series. I mean, it's part of everything. I mean, sheesh, we get 2009, and maybe that's a bad argument then. But like these sort of callbacks of celebrating Trek, and then we haven't gotten there. But if you do Trials and Tribulations, if you do the Voyager one with Sulu, blanking on the name,
Flashback?
Yeah, Flashback.
Flashback.
But so those episodes, I don't know what so we 54, right? So next year's 55 years of Star Trek. Are they gonna? We have 2 series, 3 series on air.
Maybe they'll throw it into the animated one.
That'll be easy, right? So
we're gonna time jump to all series. We could do it because we just animate it differently.
Fun. The thing is, it's a really interesting point, Philip, but I think it's also interesting to point out that unlike Relics or Unification, like you just mentioned, or even Flashback, all those sorts of things, even the canon stuff has been serialized. So whereas before it was a special episode to celebrate this anniversary, now it's, hey, you get Pike for a whole season. it's a different type of thing.
True.
They don't celebrate it concentratedly in one episode. They just say, hey, we'll bring a character in or whatever. And I assume, and think they'll probably do the same thing with Picard and the animated series, and who knows? It may just be the fact that that sort of stuff is just a part of the regular serialization now. So, I don't know. Is that better? Pike was great on Discovery. I think he was one of the things that we loved. But is it better? Is having Pike the captain of Discovery for a season better than having a one-off Scotty episode or a one-off Spock episode? I don't know. Are we losing something? Are we gaining something? Is it split down the middle? That's kind of the whole thesis of this episode. But what is your sense of that?
Well, like for instance, because Discovery is hard because they're in that timeline, so they either had to avoid it or not avoid it. Then and so whatever. But like Picard, that's what do they do? What do they do for the 55th?
Finally in the future.
Yeah. Or do they do anything at all?
Well, and when is the lower deck supposed to be set at?
I think. Well, I don't know, but I assume I mean, I don't know, but I would assume post Voyager, but that's just me making
Yeah,
stuff up.
I think it's post Voyager as well.
So pre-Picard.
PP, as I would call it.
80. So it's 20 years before Picard. Wait, is that right?
Sure.
23. A year after Nemesis. That's when it. Oh, interesting. That is actually super interesting that it takes place.
So the animated series takes place in a year after
Nemesis, yeah.
Oh,
that makes
wow.
sense.
Does it?
Well, yeah.
Is it going to get confused?
No.
Is it going to get confusing at that point?
Well, yes, because we'll have 3 timelines at one time.
Yeah.
Timeline. Philip, there's no time to
And
talk
yet
about
they still
the
won't do a
timeline.
crossover, Daniel.
We'll talk about that later.
Wouldn't you love the animated?
Wait, you're saying yeah, I was gonna say a
Wouldn't that be
crossover into the
awesome,
animated
though?
show?
Wouldn't that be awesome if there was a comic or even with CW?
So it would just look like Patrick Stewart's character from Family Guy just walked on into American
Yes.
Dad just walked into the.
Listen, if they can do the episode with Satan's robot, where they go into the black and white world to deal with the photonic energy beings, I think that there could absolutely be a crossover into an animated universe. Whatever. That's a different subject entirely.
Or go the other way, and
Or go
you
the-
have an
that would be
older
awesome.
version realized as a full person of an animated character that we saw 20 years ago.
Actually, I don't know how I'm going to deal
Animated.
logically, intellectually with the canonization of an animated series. I don't know how that's going to work for me.
The other one's canon too.
Is it though?
It is. It is.
Giant Spock out there.
They were making Star Trek. They just were animated.
And the holodeck existed and then disappeared for a couple of years and came back.
Look, it called Kirk a jerk, so that's why it went
that's
away
canon.
for a while.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so that's. I guess we'll move on. I was surprised because I was going through the list of episodes of all the different series, and I actually think I came up with the most examples for Deep Space Nine, which I would argue is probably the. I think it's probably where I think Star Trek should exist in terms of canonization. Serialization versus episodic nature. I think it does it the best. Where it's the most satisfying, but you can also have these one-off episodes. And when I first started thinking about this topic, what first came in my mind was, the baseball episode, "Take Me to the Hall Suite,"
Yep, take me out to the Hall Suite.
and that's what first popped into my mind because that was really late. That was season 5 or 6.
That's season 7.
Oh my God, that's the Dominion
Yeah.
War arc.
Yeah,
and
that's episode 4 of season 7.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at that season right now.
So it's literally in the midst of the heavy serialization. And I mean, yes. I mean, you could say that.
I mean, we know the last 10 episodes are they're on the train.
Right.
It's before that, but I know what you're saying. Season 7 is the most serialized of all the seasons.
Right, yeah. So that's already pretty deep in there. And they still take the time to have this entire episode literally about a petty argument between Cisco and some Vulcan he had when he was in the academy that doesn't matter and nobody cares.
Yeah.
And they play baseball. And
I mean, it's a great episode.
Now, Daniel,
It just has nothing to do with the rest of the season.
at least this is a real life argument, unlike another certain episode where they take time to deal with a holographic argument.
I was just
and
thinking of
do
that too.
Ocean's
Bada bing, bada
11
bang.
Because Vic is having holographic problems.
Can't you just reprogram the holosuite? Apparently not.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
I think they mention it.
And that is also season 7 because Ezra's in it.
Yeah, that's right before they. That's episode. It's 11 episodes out from the end, so it's right before they start to get into the really deep, the episode after that is Inter Amas. They go full Latin
Oh boy.
after that.
They go
Okay.
serious.
Yeah. So that's where we start to go. Well, even then, that one is you start to have Section 31 stuff, but yeah, that's where you're on the downhill slope of the roller coaster, and there's no getting off. I don't got time for holodecks, holosuites after this. We're full Latin, guys. Full Latin.
it's interesting too, Philip. I think you mentioned earlier that a lot of these kinds of episodes are character episodes, and I also think that Deep Space Nine does a lot of the character stuff best. So something like Dr. Bashir, I presume, which is also this kind of an episode, is a deep character study and a relationship study between Bashir and Garrick. And oh, sorry, that's not what I was thinking of. But
go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was also, because now again, and these, I don't have DS9 in my head. I can just tell you these episodes. So the one where they do the James Bond, Our Man Bashir, is that what it is?
Our Man Bashir. That's what I was thinking of. Yes, thank you.
Also, Dr. Bashir, I presume, is also a good example. But go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I think it's a good. There's a lot of good examples.
Anything to do with Bashir is really a waste of time. No, I'm kidding.
You could go even the Nog. That's kind of serialized.
Well, because I was going to say even. I mean, again, I'm not saying these are bad episodes, and it's serialized in as much as they follow up. But Bashir's, what's the right way to say this? The other genetically engineered people.
I love those episodes, man.
There's two of them, right?
Yes, there are two.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember the name of the other one, but yeah, where they show up and he's like, look at this belt. I'm an admiral.
Yeah.
That's a stupid thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of this. And I think, Philip, you mentioned earlier, Trials and Tribulations. Mm-hmm. That's certainly one of these types of episodes where you're not going to get that if you have...
That's in a whole realm of its own. Yeah. Like that's such a love letter to the animated series that has not even been done in any other...
I didn't see any purple tribbles in that, Darren. You're going to have to watch it again.
I think you meant the original series.
Oh, that's what I meant. The original.
Though, Darren, now that you've brought it up...
Did you know? I did, but did you know?
Lower Decks, when it's on the air next year, that will then be the 50... What anniversary of the animated series?
I think the animated series, we're up to like 40-something.
So what will it be next year?
Let's see. The animated series began in 1973.
So 47 years, which is even a bigger number. And so
that's even bigger,
Lower
guys.
Decks will have its animated series anniversary
on air
throwback,
during the 50th.
47 years, 47.
But even so, after a couple of years, they'll hit the 50th of the animated series.
It's not going to last that long, but...
I don't know. Man, I don't know what to think about the animated series, but that's a topic for another time. All right. Any other one-offs? Just real.
Well, the crash on the planet, the Defiant went back in time, and all the people have families.
Oh, I wouldn't
Brigadoon.
I wouldn't have thought of that one. That's interesting. I would not have considered that one just because it's not.
Because I don't know. It's I don't know. You guys look it up.
And there's the Nickelodeon series, guys. You haven't forgotten about that.
But anyway, because it's not season 7, but it is during the Dominion War, because there was sort of I vaguely remember the discussion of you know what, the world going without us, it'll be fine, blah blah blah. But
yeah, no, that's a great example. I really wouldn't have thought of it in that way. I don't know why.
You get a little bit of Odo character development in Kira because of the old Odo wearing his love.
Yeah, you get to see almost human Odo. Yeah,
they had a lot of practice.
Is he more almost Bajoran? Really, shouldn't that what he be? Why doesn't he have a?
He should be Bajoran. Well,
he's in Bajoran security. He was raised by a Bajoran scientist, and yet, Anyway,
he looks human. That's true. Of all the things, Odo should have a Bajoran nose.
But when he's in his gelatinous form, he looks almost root beer like. So
true. I see where you're going with this.
I put this down and everything, and I didn't even bring it up.
Is that like a bet from Quark's bar? You must drink some of Odo.
Oh, gross. But that does bring it back. A lot of not all of them, but a lot of the Ferengi episodes, the Magnificent Ferengi, There was the other one too.
The one with Iggy Pop.
Yeah, yep, that was one too. Although that's kind of serialized, but not important serialized because it's Ferengi.
It's like the what's it called? Mirror Universe episodes. Like all the Ferengi episodes kind of exist over there, and they're just kind of like, doing their thing.
Yeah, and I don't. It's probably not an example, but all the DS9 Mirror episodes. I guess it's a whole other topic, but not needed.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about those. All right, let's move on to Voyager. Actually had a lot of trouble with Voyager.
I got an example for you, Daniel, and you're gonna love it.
All right, go hit me with it.
11:59.
Yes, that's actually a great
the brakes
example.
hit hard on that one.
There is Discovery Picard gonna have an episode where actually none of the characters in the series are in the story, but the lead plays the character.
11:59 may actually be the perfect example of what we're talking about, because you can't do that. You don't get the time or the space to do that if you have 13 episodes of story to tell. That's a great point, Philip. It's a terrible episode, but it's a great point.
You don't think Picard
was
will be
thinking...
telling about, all the Picards previously, and so...
Oh man, so Picard is like driving down a road in the middle of the winter somewhere in France, like an older Picard.
Right. I mean, it looks like Britain,
down.
but it's France.
That would be, yeah, that'd be great. You
I
can
can see the
London
white
in the
cliffs of
background.
Dover. It's clearly the coast of England.
It's clearly France.
It's right
Philip.
outside Paris.
That would be hilarious. Yeah. So what else? I already mentioned.
There's just another Eiffel Tower. They started building them everywhere in the late 22.
It's Big Ben, clear as day.
So I mentioned the Satan's Robot episode,
Captain Proton.
the Captain Proton. Thank you. Those ones are great examples as well. But what else have we got in Voyager?
I would say, I mean, it's a 7 episode, but like Omega Directive feels really stop. Like they're just totally go 7 tangent out of nowhere.
Well,
but I don't know.
And again, I don't want to attack any characters, but most Chakotay episodes,
Oh yeah,
The
great point.
fight.
the boxing one, I don't know if this is an early season one. I hate to pick on him, but like the one where he has the flashbacks with his dad. Well, actually, I mean, that happens
Yeah.
more than once. But you know what I mean? It's the one where he's a young man and his father's taking him through the thing and he's discovering his heritage. Tattoo. That's literally the name of the episode. Tattoo.
Talking about the tattoo.
Which again, I don't want to pick on that because they're like, look, you're complaining about Chakotay. We're giving him his own episode. All right, can't make you people happy. But anyway, is it about them getting home to the Alpha Quadrant? No, it is not. So there you go.
I was thinking Threshold.
I mean, that's pivotal to the entire series, Daniel. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really interesting with Voyager because they have such a hyper focused goal that almost all of their episodes, unless they make some sort of significant
It's a twofold, yeah.
jump,
Because it's going home, but it's also encountering, new life and new civilizations in the Delta Quadrant. So if it's not about going home or encountering new civilizations in life in Delta Quadrant, it's a third option like a Captain Proton, which I know is technically it's encountering a new life, but it's not. It's about Captain Proton.
right, yeah. Yeah, so Voyager was, I think, a little trickier for me to find good examples of it, but it certainly happens. Something like Real Life.
Oh, very good one.
Would also,
with the doctor and his family.
would be
Because we never talk about them again.
even in terms of character episodes, like we were mentioning, the B'Elanna one where she goes to which we mentioned last episode, where she goes to the gates of
the opposite of Stovacor. Grendel?
Yeah, Grepthor? Whatever.
Grethor.
Grethor,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, here's one. I can't remember the name of it. Is it Annihil? What is it? The fake Voyager. The blobby people.
Oh, Oblivion?
Oblivion.
Count Course
Course
Oblivion.
Yeah. Because
something
I mean,
like
again, you don't know that until the end, so it's kind of a head.
Well, and isn't that where we see like the wedding
Yes.
of Balana and Tom?
Yeah.
It's the mirror people that didn't actually like.
No, I mean
yeah.
that's hard because it's a head fading, sort of like M Night Shyamalan. But you know they're not going to do a head fake episode theoretically in these new series. They're not going to do like, oh yeah, never mind, that wasn't even them. It was a dream. You know,
Yeah.
Just like resetting the whole year. Why would they even do that?
Year
That'd be
of hell.
crazy.
Year of Hell is actually an amazing example of something that we won't. Year of Hell is actually also a perfect example of this sort of thing because it was also a failed example of it. If you get what I'm
it's a
saying,
reverse example.
It's like
Year of Hell is what the new series are, except it's the whole series.
yeah, exactly. It's a shortcut to do. Oh man, that's a mind bender now. Okay, we'll move up past that. We'll talk. We should probably do a whole episode about Year of Hell. That's a really interesting topic, but.
An hour of hell.
And you can just put it on repeat and listen to it for a whole season if you want to. All right, so I feel like kind of we're in this murky place where we kind of talked about a lot of these episodes and discussed the difference between serialization and episodic nature. But what do you guys think? I'm a little nervous that we're not going to get the next Take Me Out to the Hollow Suite, that we're going to miss out on Cupid for Discovery. Like we're not going to get those episodes.
I think we're gonna get those, but they're most likely going to be in Lower Decks, and that's gonna be the show we get those
Man,
things.
we were
in.
really
okay.
pumping up Lower Decks this episode.
No, I'm just saying. Like, you think about it though. Like, what there's actually, I would almost be surprised if Lower Decks was serialized. Like, it makes way more sense for it to be a, what's the other, not serialized, episodic show, especially now that they have, like, again, probably only 10 to 12 episodes, and you just have these little adventures in this half-hour show or whatever it is. I'm assuming it's going to be like half-hour show. Like, it's way harder to do super serialized when your show is so short.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a really good point. And I'd
almost put Latinum down on it, that it's not going to be serialized.
I mean,
in fact, I am.
It
because
will.
It doesn't exist.
It will be serialized to a degree because just all of media is at this point. But
I mean, they're going to reference things from previous episodes, but I don't think it's going to be like, now it's like Super Triple episode part 2. Like, no, I think, what are you doing today in the thing? Oh yeah, I'm doing this, it's, or whatever. I don't even know what this
Super Triple
show's
episode
gonna be
part
like.
2 doesn't come until season 3, Darren.
You said it was only getting 1 or 2 seasons. I'm trying to be optimistic.
I didn't say that. I hope it gets 10 seasons.
And a movie.
I don't know.
Lower Decks gets more seasons than any other Star Trek series. So if
Well,
it gets
that's because-
8,
that's
like
because they
hell,
don't age.
Grethor is frozen over when Lower Decks gets 8
Look,
seasons.
if Next Generation was animated, guys, it would still be on the air. It would be Simpsons.
You're probably right.
Yeah, you might not be wrong. Man, I actually don't know what to expect from Lower Decks. I'm actually completely blank with Lower Decks.
We need a trailer or something, because all we have is that concept, or like
cells.
the one-offs. Yeah, like this is what they look like.
Yeah, that's all they have.
Anyways.
Look, drawing takes a long time, guys. So
We have a second one, but if you put them real fast together,
it's like doot 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 doot.
we put it on
Frame
put it
1
on
2
TikTok.
1
It'll be
2
great.
1 2. Oh gosh, yes.
So Philip, what do you think? How do you feel? I mean, I know I would think that you kind of tend to lean toward episodic generally, but how do you feel about this?
I mean, it depends. It always depends. I mean, there's. I'm going to actually say, brace yourselves, put on the seatbelts. I'm going to say something positive about Discovery. Because a lot of times in Star Trek, when you say serialization, what you're saying is war. Because, Season 3 Enterprise, war. Oh, DS9, war.
Yeah.
Season 1.
It's still very episodic, except
Season
for that
1
common thread.
Season 1 Discovery, war. So, but season 2 Discovery, not war. I mean, conflict, but it actually was like, we're gonna do serialization, but without a war going on. I'm like, well, thank bloody, whatever. Finally, someone finally thought we could actually do serialization without war being the story in Star Trek. Because I get Star or Voyager, but again, that was a concept, not necessarily the serialization.
Philip, this is Star Trek, not Star Wars.
I know, right?
It doesn't have to have war in it.
Yet they just figured it out, how many years later. So, yeah.
That's a great point.
That's a good point.
I would not to point out the flaw in your reasoning there, but I would argue that season 2 Discovery eventually leads to war at the end anyways, so it's actually just kind of a delayed war
with Section 31.
Yeah. but
That's an internal problem.
The actual
Spock shuttle, guys, it's almost out of range. We've got to go after it.
But originally, in fact, it's almost like the actual, maybe the original idea is of Discovery. It's of, what are these lights? What are they? What do they do? Let's go find out. Which is an interesting concept, right? It turns out nothing. They do nothing, and they make no sense. But whatever. Whatever.
At the end, Micro was like, "There are 7 lights," and then she walked away, and it's all good.
Yeah, and so I was watching an episode of something or other, and I thought about it, and I was like, man, there's been lots of filler episodes and lots of television throughout the years, and some good, some bad, some middle of the road, and I was concerned that we were going to miss out on some of the crazier risks that Star Trek has taken, and I hope we don't. Like Darren says, because maybe we have 4 series being produced right now, it may be the case that each of them can serve a different niche, and we will be totally okay, and we'll get those crazy, wonky episodes in the animated series, and that'd be fine. They would be totally fine. I wouldn't miss them in Discovery. It's not like I need a Western episode in Discovery if I have one in Lower Decks. But I was just a little concerned. I was thinking, man, I hope
West crossover between all 3 shows. Do it
on the holodeck.
Manifest
in time. You got to throw it all in there.
I do. Now that we're talking about it, man, I hope they do some sort of crazy crossover. I hope Avengers is enough to push them into like
just you could some. I mean, you have 3 timelines. You could. I mean, because there's a lot. They do this a lot in the novel series where you'll have like Day of Honor, or where you'll have. There's one. I mean, they have a bunch I know in the novel verse, but in the Legacy Trek days, it'd be like this thing, and it would be like, oh, here's the TOS story in that series, and the TNG story in that series, and the DS9 and the Voyager. Like, there's one that was like Furies. I forget what it was called, but it was a good series that I had. But you plant the seed in Discovery in the well, see, no, it's in the future. Okay, so let me do this again. You plant the seed with Lower Decks in the past of comparatively. And then you develop it a little in Picard, and then you have it in Discovery full blast. You could do that. You could do that.
Or how brilliant would it be? And I'm getting crazy pie in the sky now, but how brilliant would it be if all of these stories, season X of this and season Y of that and all of this, they're telling their own thing, and then at the end, the plot twist in all of them is that they're all connected.
The portals
we don't
open
realize
up.
it till. Yep, exactly. That would be amazing.
You want more?
Oh man. Watch these other shows and you'll learn some more things. That would take a crazy level of sophistication of writing, but that would be pretty cool. All right. Any closing thoughts? Anything else, guys, that we want to talk about?
Star Trek Universe Infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about like serialization and non-serialization, and it sounds like overall we're kind of bemoaning the missing out on that. But I just hope we see, I mean, we can't go back, and they're not, and like I said, like maybe Lower Decks is all non-serialized. I don't know, but what I want is more. I'm trying to look to the future. I'm just see, maybe the days of, non-serialized is gone, but I want, web series, and I want, extra. What ifs and crossovers and crazy stuff. And I think now with everything coming out on All Access, that gives them a better platform to do different things and try different things and do crossovers and weird combos. And I think they're just warming up again because, Trek's been gone for a while, so we have to gradually get back there.
Yeah, once the combination or the rejoining of the franchise is complete, I just want whoever's in charge.
Once they mate the saucer section with the Star
Exactly.
Drive section once again.
CBS and Paramount. Yeah.
I want Alex or whoever is the Star Trek guru to be like, you know what, Disney Plus? You think you have a bunch of Marvel shows? Whoa, my friend. Wait till you see what we're pulling out here.
We're going to launch 8 new Star Trek series next year. I mean, as much as we promote it, CBS, they know what they got, and they know people like it. They just got to put it out there.
And it was a great point, Darren, that you mentioned about short treks because...
Or Lower Decks, but yeah.
No. Well, you were talking about, you briefly mentioned short treks.
Like
and I was just...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking that and we've talked about this ad nauseum, so I don't want to get into it, but they have a big opportunity with short treks, and I want them to push short treks to the limit. I don't want it to be the sets that we know with one of our characters. Do something more exciting, do crazy stuff with short treks. That's the avenue.
And I think we're getting that. I'm pretty sure we're getting like Picard short treks and Lower Decks short treks. So it's like,
and a Pike.
Let's
Spock,
get,
Yeah, I don't think we're getting any Discovery short treks at this point. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not entirely sure we're getting Discovery, but anyway, go ahead.
It's coming
But
from
yeah,
I've not seen it.
so
Not
maybe
the trailer.
that's the crazy.
I've seen one photo. One.
It's coming. Okay. All right. So that's interesting. We've talked a lot about a lot of different subjects. But you know what? Soon enough, we're going to be getting some more Star Trek. So we will talk about that next week. Darren, if people want to get hold of you, how would they find you online?
They can find me on Twitter, Instagram under username Dr. Sci-Fi, DrSciFi, or drsci-fi.com.
And Philip, if they wanted to find out which of the mirror universes are your favorite, how would they find you?
Well, the animated mirror universe, obviously. They can find me on Twitter at NCPublicServant.
And if people wanted to find me on Twitter as well, they could find me there under OneUpDan. That's the number 1, not the word. And we will catch you all next week. I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on Serial 3.